Hey, everybody, you're listening to the Combo Wombo podcast. I'm Chip Monk, and with me, as always, is the Mr. Gimpy.
What's up, Chip? How's it going, brother?
What's happening, man? You're just chilling. You recording the audio this time?
I am actually recording the audio. I checked.
We recorded this one
checked.
4 times already. This guy.
That's some bullshit. Yeah.
Calamity of errors with this dude.
It's one time I'll never live it down.
That's all it takes for every time to be like, hey, we good this time. I got some, we've been getting some emails. I guess we forgot about Simba de Amico about the Nintendo Direct last episode.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah, people are like,
announcement.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I hope they come out with actual Maraca attachments for the Switch, right? So we can just go to
right? The old Dreamcast. And
yeah.
Did it come out for GameCube?
Awesome. I want to say it did.
There was all kinds of weird peripherals out there. They had like the Donkey Kong Congos and
Maraca. I still got my bongo drums, dude.
You're ready, dude. You're ready for a circle, a drumming circle.
There's a Taiko Drum Master that came out. It only has the drum for the Switch. Though they released it on the Xbox as well, but the Xbox doesn't have a drum. I'm like, what the fuck? So I got to play that with the controller. So, and my son was loving the game, so I was gonna do the old Amazon search for the Taiko drum and get that.
Couldn't find it.
Yeah.
The drama.
Eventually, they got Undertale's Megalovania on Megalomania, the song on there, and my son.
That song claps, dude. Yeah, who doesn't love that song?
My son loves it, so he's playing that all the time with the controller. It's like we need to get it on the drums so you can just start, I
haven't even played Undertales, but I've heard that song like 1,000 times. Yeah,
I'd say if you have like 2 days off, dude, just you want to play like a really solid RPG, play that. It's good. Yeah. It's really good. And I think you'll appreciate a lot of it, just from the developer standpoint. Undertale's made with Game Maker, so
okay. Yeah, I've only ever heard good things about it, but I always just kind of look at it and kind of like you said, like where you have to have a couple of days to like really get into it. It's like it seems like the type of game you want to play with like no distractions or anything else. You want to really dive into the story and the character.
Yeah, it's a satire of RPGs is very well done, especially like someone like you who's played a shit ton of RPGs. And aren't you going through an RPG right now? Aren't you going through one of the Final Fantasies still? Or did you drop
7. I've been played it. I haven't necessarily dropped it, but I haven't really gone back into it. I've been waiting for them to drop the next part of that game still.
Yeah. This year, right? Or
I don't know. They keep on pushing it back. They're like, oh, pandemic.
I mean, it'll be. Yeah,
they announced like 3 other like Final Fantasy games.
They got like 3 different teams working on it, though. It's not like the same team, so yeah, that's all right. They're gonna do like 16 first, I'm sure, and get all the hype.
I heard that the engine that they got wasn't complete. Like I guess like that open world game that came out before the remake was supposed to be like the backbone for it, and they couldn't get like high level systems to work, so they just like patchworked together a game. And then they handed it out to the core team, and they're like, "Here you go." And they're like, "Bro, what the fuck?"
They switched to Unreal. I thought that was the big thing.
They did that too.
Unreal. Yeah.
This is high level.
Using that engine. They just dropped it completely because their next 3 projects used Unreal. So I assume they're not doing in-house development or in-house engine development at this point in time.
It seems like a lot of teams have been switching it up to
Unreal.
Responsible
for Platinum Games' last flop, Babylon's Fall. The game lasted for 2 months and no one played it. It was trash apparently.
Rip.
So yeah.
So I don't know, man. You've been keeping up with any of the Unreal business?
As far as the engine or company as a whole? Outside of like when we talked about like the nanite meshes coming and the memory savings that it offered, since I don't use Unreal for development, I haven't really followed it much. And I know you dabbled in it a little bit, but you're still sticking to Unity. I'm guessing because C++ versus C# as far as the underlying.
I know that like the core is mostly blueprints, so I've looked into it. Like there used to not be any good tutorials for blueprints, and then Unreal started like doing like webinars where they do like an 1.5 hour like course of like, hey, you could probably learn this too. It's not just crazy people anymore using Unreal.
Yeah.
So or like high studios that need dedicated teams, and I started watching some of those, and I was like, all right, this is getting like more user friendly. But I was like, I know like as soon as I try to branch out outside of like what they're doing on the scope of these tutorials, I'm like not going to be able to do anything. Yeah. So I was like, oh wait, it feels like they're finally starting to build up that community. They've really, spent some resources and time, like making like a whole community, like web space for the like people, the developers, smaller indie teams. I know they used to have like straight up like 2D support in it, and then they got rid of it, but you can still do 2D.
Yeah,
so
but you have to have weird camera positioning, right, or something stupid.
Yeah,
like
you have to use all kinds of weird stuff. But it seems all right. Like it's like you could get it to work, but it's not like it's forte. It's like you'd probably be better off using like Game Maker, or,
Unity,
Construct, or Unity, or GDevelop, Godot. Yeah, really anything other than Unreal for 2D.
I get you. No, that's fine. I mean, it's obviously the industry standard engine for a reason. It's just outside of my personal grasp right now. Maybe in the future, but I do like keeping abreast of what's going on all of the engines personally. But I just haven't looked, and that's on me.
It seems like it's really getting there. I don't think it's quite there yet. I've seen like a lot of people complaining that it's like too good. Because of like their Megascans library and stuff, and they're like, all these games are going to look the same. And I was like, I felt the same way as soon as I saw like the 5.1 drop, where I was like, damn, we're gonna have a ton of asset flip, like weird desert games.
First came out, it was all like very similar. I remember that shit too.
Used to like pop in. Remember like Gears of War, like back in the old Unreal.
Yep.
Like you used to have like texture popping and like normal maps popping in and out.
Yep.
It's wild, man.
Yep. I do remember that. Yeah. So other than Unreal, I know you've been grinding away on Unity and on your 3D game, 3D platformer. How's that coming along? How's the?
It's slow, man. Slow and steady. Like it's weird. I finished like 2 more levels this week. I was sick for like 3 days this week.
Glad you're back in the land of the living, dude.
I was just like taking it easy, like chilling, watching like a bunch of like wrestling compilation YouTube videos. They show like the history of like different wrestlers and stuff. I'm like, let me just sit down and relax. I only finished 2, but I don't have too many more. I think I only have like 2 more levels to go. So
that's awesome, man.
Like to do the major blockouts and stuff. Yeah, it's progress. It feels, I'm at that weird like choke point where I'm like, I just kind of want to be done, but I'm like so close to the finish where it's like, it makes me want to just like buckle down and just like grind out the last bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have to do that, and like, I don't know, like I feel like I'd hate the project more if I tried to do that.
Yeah. So we talked about this, probably season 1, where you get to the last 90%, which is actually, or the last 10%, which feels like you're doing 90% of the work. You're at that point now. It's a hurdle. Now let me ask you this: are you on final assets now?
For everything,
still blocked out? Yeah,
I think everything's blocked. I blocked out everything. Like the levels I'm doing now, I'm just blocking out, and then I'm doing everything in like batch task. So like I'm blocking out all the big levels, then I'm going to go through and play them all, and just see how they feel. After that, then I'm going to go through and then like for all the textures and stuff, like I have like I'm using Substance now, and I can just like drag and drop, so I can change out things really fast. And then for placing assets in the world, I'm using this asset from Uni. I think it's called like World Builder Plus, and it's great because like you can just like draw lines and it'll like populate coins and everything else like on those lines. And then you're using cool. You can make circles, you can do ellipses, everything, man. It's great.
Yeah.
It is really great. Like it's like, I don't know. I tried to like use this other thing. It's called like prefab brush, and that didn't work right away. And it had like some good like technical documentation. I just looked at it, I was like, man, what the fuck? I ain't reading all this. This is crazy. like it's like it's such a simple tool. There's like 3 like things in there, and I was like, it's just not working. There's like 3 buttons to press.
Yeah.
The world builders like almost equally as convoluted, but it's like way more powerful. So like I have like a little bit more forgiveness for it. And there's like a quick start YouTube video that the creator made, which always helps, where I can just be like, because like sometimes in technical documents it'll just say like, oh, go to tools and use this, and then like you're like looking around and like, but I'm not seeing this like anywhere, like on my tool shelf, on your tool shelf, like where the fuck is this button type of situation. But it's that's great. That's been a great tool. It's been everything to save time and like be more streamlined. Like I'm still using Trench Broom. It's super fast.
You got me to download Trench Broom, by the way, dude.
Yeah, it's small, dude. It's free.
I downloaded it. I looked into it, and it's just like was that QEdit or whatever back in the day where you make quick
Yeah.
maps. I was like, man, I haven't used that in since I was like 10, 11, 12, something like that. And I was like, it's like memories will flood back. So that's what led me to look at like I went to my parents' place to look at some old projects. I got like my old like sketchbook and all, or composition notebook,
Yeah.
and found like some old comics I made, some old like game code that I had back when Click and Create was a thing.
Yep.
Um, and this is like when I was in elementary school, the stuff, man. So I was like, man, I did quite a bit. I remember looking at it at the time, going, "Oh man, this should be better." But looking at it as an adult, looking at it, I'm like, I did this when I was like under 10. Like that's fucking insane. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
So I was impressed by all the stuff and just kind of going on a nostalgia trip. Um,
You're
but
feeling yourself.
yeah, I think when you're kind of in that bubble where you're just kind of working on stuff without anyone else, and as I've shared before on the pod too, a lot of my creative endeavors went. I wouldn't want to say unrealized, but unpraised by like the people around me at the time, right?
Yeah.
So like,
Internet really wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah, they couldn't really show it. Like my family didn't realize the scope of the stuff that I was doing at a certain age, so
Yeah.
it just kind of was there. But showing like my kids now, my wife now, they're like, "Holy crap, you did this when you were that age!" I'm like, yeah, they're like, "Oh, that's awesome." So like it's retroactively felt great. I wish I'm looking for like old game projects that I could play. Like I told you, like the clown game. I know
Yeah.
it's on a hard drive somewhere, so I started the search for that, just to see how that plays now in
I feel like I
2023.
still have the key, the game we all made.
Yeah.
I
I
still have
have
a
that
copy of
somewhere
that
too.
somewhere.
That
Yeah.
might be on a Dropbox somewhere. Yeah.
It's a
I
very
found
simple game. It's nothing
remember
to
that
it,
dice
guys.
game that I was making on that one game jam we had where it was a phone game and you shake the phone to shake the dice and
Yeah.
that decided your attacks.
I
I
always say
found the
I still
assets for
stand by. It's a bad idea, dude. Like nobody wants to shake their phone. You're gonna drop that thing. You open yourself
that.
up to lawsuits. Like it's crazy.
I still have the assets for that. I found the assets. I haven't found like the game itself though, but
All right.
it's
Yeah.
somewhere. But yeah, kind of going on a nostalgia trip for that has been fun. On my own projects, I shared some code with you, and then some of the underlying stuff that I was working on. Um, I'm working on placeholder art at the moment. Um, so I have standing, just general like 2 frame run cycle, so I can actually see it run.
Yep.
I got character sizing now. Um, as far as the auto runner, I decided to just use just straight lines and stuff, not using slopes, things like that,
Yeah.
because of how I'm making it. I think slopes just wouldn't work with just the general world that I'm realizing. So I decided to make it kind of like a 3 lane auto runner game, so you can swap lanes
Yeah.
back and forth or
Like
whatever.
the Subway Surfer or whatever, like his
Yes,
type of
yes,
games.
very
Yeah.
very similar to that. So I have an array I made with pieces, and then a separate array with obstacles.
All right.
So I'm working on generating those at certain intervals, and working on combat. So I was initially making this game for my kids for like their mobile devices, like their Fire
Yeah.
tablets. Um, then I realized I don't have the mobile exporter for Game Maker. And I'm
What
like,
happened, man?
I thought I bought all of the runtime or the exporters, but I guess
Yep.
I just bought the Windows one and
Can
figured
you
out I'm like
use like HTML? Can you get it like running
HTML5.
on a browser? Yeah.
I might be able to. I'll have to look. I
Yeah.
think
You
I
might be able
think I
to
can. Yeah,
export it as a browser and
yeah.
just
If
use it
not,
on.
I'll just buy the exporter, even if it's. I
Dang,
mean,
man.
it's for
They
my kids.
got you.
It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it for them, so they can play it on their tablets. But
You just want an excuse to buy the exporter, dude.
I think if I buy it, it'll force me to finish it.
Yeah. I respect that.
It's like why'd I spend all this money? So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm at a good point. So what I've been doing, and this is probably not the most productive thing to do, but it's what's happening. So I got like 3 concurrent projects running at the same time,
What
and
happened, man?
it's is it overwhelming? Probably. But is it
Yeah.
keeping my mind fresh? Like when I get stuck on one, I go to the other one.
Yeah, that
Um,
helps.
so it's just a different avenue for things, right? Like why I put placeholder art is because I was working on animation on
Yeah.
a separate project that we were talking about the other day. And so the top down game, I actually got my score system working.
Nice.
I got I looked at my old AI code for like enemy detection, and I just didn't remember how it works, so I just scrapped it and started remaking it. So
Yeah.
So that's where that is. But I decided on character movement speed. Um, I got more of the level mapped out actually.
Nice.
So we're moving along. I think I wasn't sure if I was gonna have a score system, but with the visceral feel that I want in the combat, I think it adds like a little bit of panache to the game.
Oh.
So well, we'll see if I keep it or not. But for now, for like playtesting, like seeing my score go up, it has that little endorphin rush. So
Yeah, and it
we'll see
helps
if
with
it
like
stays.
debugging and stuff too. Make sure you're actually like ticking
Like
off whatever you're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
yeah, and it did help me define a combat loop. So the combat loop is your character is
Wait, I'm
basically
sorry. Is this still the auto runner game?
no, this is the top game
Okay.
right now. Sorry.
All right. No,
Um,
no. I was just double checking. I was like, wait, man, you got like some sort of combat loop going on. You said you wanted to add it in the auto runner at some point, but
yeah, that's what the obstacles are. So you have to tap the obstacles in the auto runner to like get rid of them,
yeah.
or swap lanes. With the top down game, uh, like there's a dash mechanic that I had, and the dash mechanic still works, but it's like a dash slice now. So it's like you dash and
Oh.
cut the character. So a lot of the enemies will die on one hit, but it's also kind of like a stealth game, so you're trying to do it when they're not looking at you. So it adds like a little puzzle flair to it. So I have like right now, just temporarily, I have like a combo system. So if you get one, you can go back to the other. So you get a multiplier, then boom, score.
Yeah.
I added some casino like sound effects just for now, just for playtesting. I'm like, that works. So just it's been fun. It's forcing me to use more variables, forced me to use arrays on the other projects. So
Yeah.
and when you haven't done game dev for a while, when you start using things like instance variables, which is pretty common in game dev, and then arrays, which again is very common, which if you're using any project of any scale, if you have like inventory management, money management, things like that,
Like pulling items.
you're pulling items exactly. You're gonna need to use an array at some
Yeah.
point, and so getting
What about a list? You could always use a list, brother.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But getting back into it has been there, and since I've refocused on this, and like I said, I got the day job stuff done. I've been working on something every single day.
Nice, man.
Which
Really
for
getting
me,
back into it.
That's the true testament of me actually being back into it, right? Because
Guess
before
you're
I done
back.
it like a day out of the week, or a couple hours
Yeah.
out of the week, but now I like spent probably 5-6 hours the other day just working on shit.
Yeah. That's been my hardest part is like,
Mhm.
I feel like I'm only getting like an hour or two of like actual stuff done every day.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, like this is I think the most suffocating part. Like I said, we're like you're so close to the end and you're like, if I just like pulled a couple of all-nighters, man, I could probably get this fucking thing done. But you're like, I got work in the morning, I got all the shit to do. Like I'm not Kenny Omega, I'm not a bout machine, like,
Definitely. But yeah, man, it's been fun, and I think the difference now is not only like you inspiring me with your progress all the time, but I think I don't know. It's just a good point. Like something clicked. Like in the back of
Alright.
my mind, something just clicked, and it's been fun to work on. It's been fun to get
I mean,
back
it's
into it.
really the point of the whole podcast is just to have like a place for like like-minded people that kind of be just, like check in. Like nobody, like we said it before like 100 times, like when you're an adult, like nobody gives a fuck about like like anything you're working on. Really, it's like especially like hobbies or projects that like you have as an adult. Like other people are like, oh, that's nice, but like to like get like around like-minded people who actually like understand like the craft and be like, oh, have you thought about this? Have you seen this? Or like even just sharing resources like among us, where like I like send you stuff. I'm like, oh, have you like checked out this? Are you seen like this news article?
Yeah.
And like it might have nothing to do with you and like you don't care, but like I have nobody else to share that shit with. Like if I shared that to anybody else, they'd be like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like it's kind of weird. Stop sending me shit unsolicited links, dude.
Right. Yeah. No. Very, very true. And it's probably you're right. It probably is the podcast that really kind of fueled it. Because I think we're talking about it, once a week, and it's still always in my head. So
like we both have had like a couple of lulls, like where you'll be like, "Oh, you working on anything?" I'm like, "No." Like, I'm like, "Oh no, man, wait till November, bro. That's my season, bro. I'll get after it.
Game dev season.
Yeah, dude. Everything's closed. It's cold. Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I will say, as far as the season switch, I'm a little worried that I won't work on anything again.
Yeah.
Just because, when it's nice outside, I'm outside,
Yeah. That's fair, man.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But
yeah, I think we both got to get into like the habit of just kind of like maybe not stopping completely, but maybe slowing down, to like just keep it going. Like, because I find like it usually takes me like a week or two of like shaking off the rust every time I get back into a project, and like it gets faster because like what you're looking for more and more. So like if you like forget how to do something, like what it's called, so you can like look it up real quick. Whereas like if you're like going in blind and you don't know what you're doing anymore, you're like, I don't know what this is, I don't know how or why I'm stuck. Like you're basically like flying under without a radar.
Yeah, like stuff's gotten easier for me too, because like when I first got back into it, like even like the debugger and stuff, I was looking, I'm like, where the fuck is this? And I'm like looking to find the line that's not working. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then now it's like if something pops up, I'm like, oh, okay, it's just this, perfect. Okay, good.
Got it.
So like the ability to just glance at the debugger, go, oh, I forgot this, or oh, I misspelled that, or whatever. It's like second nature now, and it's one of those things where tutorials and stuff will go, oh yeah, there's the debugger, you can use this, but they don't like explain like what exactly you're saying,
or what you're looking for. They'll give you like a line or a number, and you're like, this doesn't help me at all. Like, like even like I'll find like just posting in like those lines into like Google, and then somebody will be like, oh, this is this type of error, you should probably like think about like maybe this or this, and I'm like, I don't think that's it, but like I don't know, like it gives you something to think about.
yeah I've been in the habit of, if something's not working, I just comment out my code that I added and see if it's working. Just kind of go from, so I read it in one of the game design books that I have, actually. So if something's not working, from point A, B, C, you go from point A to B and see if it's not working there, and go from B to C to see if it's not working there. If it's not, you go back further and further until you get to the point where it was working, and then you add again to see what went wrong. So compartmentalizing the portions that aren't working has helped.
Is there the modularity in GameMaker? Like, can you take code from one project and like port it over?
Yes.
Like all the stuff you're doing with like variables and stuff, can you take that into like the auto runner game and be like, all right, now I have like a
the array system I made for the auto runner game I brought over to the top down game.
Nice.
It's just different things that are there. So like I said, I have like floors and stuff for the arrays on it, and then I just swap those out for coins and enemy types and your weapon.
Yeah.
So So that's modularity, I'd say is I think it's important, but not only the ability, but to know you can do it. Because I think we talk about on this pod quite a bit is not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah, I've been struggling a little bit with that in Unity. Like you can do it in Unity, but like the way like C# code works in Unity, where it's like if it asks or calls for something and it's like a script not attached to something with like if you had like a script on an object and it's like a parent object with like a sub object, and it's like looking for like, it's like, oh, give me like a list of all these things on this object. And then like, if it has this name, then, do X or whatever. But like in the scripts, like if I like port it over, it'll be like, there's no parent assigned, there's no kid, then there's no X. And it'll like just shoot out errors, and it'll be like, you can't run this. Like it won't even be a script you're using. It'll just be a script in your like asset folder, and it'll be like, hey, this script's broken. Like you have to fix this before we'll let you run the game. And I'm like, it's not even in the fucking game. Like, what is this? So yeah, Unity's like a little bit more like touchy with that stuff, but like I which is maybe like try and make things even more generic and more modular. It's weird.
Yeah,
like you have to take like even like one more step back of abstraction instead of being like, a specific thing. Just be like, get components like on the parent, get everything that could be in it, and then instead of looking for a specific X, just be like, create a variable X, and then like if it then shoot off an event. Sure. So then like everything's like abstracted just like one layer instead of like very specific things, instead of like being able to assign variables on like a specific thing and be like having it working examples. You have to like just kind of remember what things do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. it worked. Like there is modularity and like there's like the ability to like reuse scripts and stuff. But
well,
like
the fact that you can like download full code snippets to handle things like third person cameras and things like that. I think it's there, but yeah, if this is just like a resource folder that just kind of goes along with every project, and then if you have old scripts in there, it just fucks the shit up. Or...
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to build, and like that's what's happening. Is like so it's like it's me. It's not the program, and like it's how I'm programming. So it's like making me like reconsider like what I'm doing and like how to build up like a resource folder that I can just like use instead of reinventing the wheel every time. Like I'm like I wanted to like quickly prototype an idea I had like a week ago, and I was like, man, I have to like rewrite a fucking player controller again. And it's a very specific way I want this player controller to work. But like the fact that I can't just like, easily do this, like I like have like older folders with stuff and I like pull that in. I'm like, this isn't exactly what I want. So I start, rewriting code and like using it, but it worked. Like just like that example of like, oh, this is a player controller I wrote like a few months ago. Like it was like almost like 9 months ago. And I was like, pulled it in. And I was like, all right, this works, but it's not exactly what I want. Exactly. That I like went through and started tweaking it and stuff. And I was like, oh, it's all right.
I get you.
Yeah.
Dude, so how has the crashing been? Because I know in your previous project you dealt with Unity crashing quite a bit. How has that been for you?
Like I've written like some bad code where like it crashed Unity. So like I wrote like my own malicious code. And so boys where like I had to go into like project folders and delete like scripts that I wrote where I was like, it didn't even like shoot out an error or anything. It's just like, I'm done. Fuck you. I probably like 3 or 4 times this whole thing's crashed on me.
Okay.
Which isn't horrible. And like like 2 of those times it was me and like the code I was writing. And then one of them it just was like, I don't know, whatever, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like every once in a while I'll just like run out of resources or whatever. Like they were doing shit where like they were running from single core like CPU and stuff for a long time instead of like threading things out through RAM. So like if you were like transferring over or downloading like a folder or an asset that you bought and then you're like, all right, install this. It's like, it's going to be a while, dog. And I'm like, I have like a god tier computer, dude. What is this shit? Like, this is nuts, dude. Like it's literally transferring a file from a file to another folder. It's like moving, it's like copy pasting things. And it's like, best we can do is go at like 20 kilobits a second, bro. Like
we got
it's going to be a minute. Why don't you go do something else for a little bit? So
for sure.
And like in the latest update, in I think LTS 2021 or 2022, they've finally brought in multi-threading and stuff. They've been working on the engine,
multi-threading while you, because I know the games had multi-threading, so it's multi-threading while you're creating the game. Then.
Yeah.
So it's the program itself. Okay.
Yeah. And then like you'll still run into like weird stuff where like you should be able to put a phone in developer mode, and then like when you hit play, like on the Unity player, you can live stream it to your phone, and I can never get that shit to work. And like I will always watch people, and they're like, and then you just click this and this, and now it works. And I'm like, it really doesn't, bro. Like I don't know what exact voodoo setup you're using, man, but it's working.
It's not a thing. Yeah. It's great, dude. So on the tail end of this episode here, last 3
Can't Jerry Springer us, dude?
My final thought. No.
Yeah,
no.
what's your final
thought? I just
don't be a hoe.
And I'll answer this as well. So as far as the project, you're still grinding away on it. It's awesome. What, in like a few words, what's keeping you going?
Really, I think I haven't done things to like certain levels of like you said, like other things that you wanted to do, like get things on the Android. I've been trying to like put this on Steam just for like me and like my buddies. And like it's just something new that I haven't done. I feel like you are even making a game anymore if you haven't even put it on Steam like once, or at least to say you've done it,
Mm-hmm.
So like that's kind of like the bigger abstract thing of like just small little goals. Everything I'm doing, I'm just like usually just to learn or like just have fun. So I got like that voice acting from you and our other buddy. And I was like making cutscenes and stuff. I've never, like, you were like, hey man, have you made cutscenes and shit like this before? I'm like, I've always thought about it, but I never really got to that part of like a project before. So that it's just like having fun like that, being like, oh, how can I like, do something different? And like when you're like a single game dev, like you can wear so many different hats where like, so like I had to like 3D model that character, and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta do this. And I was like, oh wait, I know how to do that. And like I just, took like a day and did that. So every time like something becomes like not fun, like there's always like some other avenue or vector of attack. But like again, towards the end of the project now, that's where I'm like really starting to struggle because there's like very few things I can do now. Where it's like, all right, you either finish buckle down, finish blocking out these levels, finish making the last like 3 cutscenes, go through and decorate the levels, and then like playtest, send it to like some buddies and like, see if they have any trouble, and then fix any big major issues, problems. I don't know, it's not fun parts, but like again for me, like what's going to keep me going through that hopefully is hopefully being able to like throw it up on Steam and be like, here you guys go, check this shit out.
Yeah.
So that's fun. I don't know, what about you, man? What's keeping you in the race again, dude?
So parts of it were the 2023 goals that I've had. As you know, I wanted to do a game jam this year. I want to get to the point where I know the engine enough and my workflow's good enough to do a 24 or a 48-hour game jam just to submit. I mean, whether I'm doing it solo or like with you or whomever, I'll
game jam with you, dude.
I'll cross that bridge when we get there,
But you need to be committed, dude. I don't need. If I log on Discord and you're playing World of Warcraft, dude, I'm out.
I think I have more game jams under my belt than you do, though, brother.
I don't know about that, bro.
but just it's been all since I've done that, and I think it'd be fun to just submit a project and stuff and get something done super quick.
Do you have like an itch.io page or anything that you've been putting stuff up
account that I've had forever. But
is there any of your new stuff on there? Any projects on there?
No.
Yeah.
It's well, like I said, I'll cross that when I get there.
It's been fun. It's been a nice thing to have. Like again, like not a lot of people play my games, but just like also just having like a digital locker room, kind of like you're showing me like all these old animations that you did before the pod. Yeah, and you're like, man, it's crazy that I did this stuff in the past. And like I'll look back at some of my old games, I'm like, oh yeah, I fucking made some games, dude. That's right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I should. I'll work on it because we have the Danger Kings page for a lot of things, but I'll make my own like solo one too. That's a good idea.
You said like you're having a lot of fun, like showing your kids and sharing like the process with them.
Yeah, that's been a big motivator too, because what they don't know is everything's new to them. So even if I made like a breakout clone, right, as like an exercise in doing enemy patterns. Movement.
They're like, Dad, you're gonna be a millionaire. This is genius.
So I showed them the Breakout game that I made, and they're having a blast. And then I switched it from Breakout to Space Invaders. So all I did was this is like the same setup. So instead of a paddle, I put a spaceship on, and then instead of like the ball bouncing back and forth, I just switched that to laser guns and stuff. And you're shooting the thing.
Now you got a gun.
Yeah. So my son went crazy for that. And then I thought, okay, a little gameplay thing. So I have you can put the paddle on top of the ship now, and then it shoots a ball, and you can keep the ball going. It'll hit the thing. So it's Breakout plus Space Invaders, Yeah. And, it's a little too advanced for my son, but, I was like, oh, it's actually a little, neat little gameplay idea. And being able to do that on the fly and having my kids test it out, and they're like almost every day they wake up, they go, did you make anything else? I was like, it doesn't work that quick, kids. But it was nice to see. They are definitely a motivator. But I think too, just our Discord friend group, the Psychedelic Savages, shout out, they have been incredibly supportive, and I think that's one thing. When you have people in your corner who may not necessarily do the same things you do, but they give you encouragement and appreciate your work, helps a ton. So you're not just doing it in a vacuum. So I think like the big thing was when I was doing solo shit, I was in a vacuum, and now I opened myself up to a little more, and I know someone else is working on similar things, and it's helped a ton. So I think that's the external recognition has helped too. So I think those are the things that are keeping me going. But yeah, man, it's great to hear progress. I think, next week we got some other stuff coming up. We got some game news. There's a new Team Ninja game that I want to try out this week. That's, not Team Ninja. It's the studio that branched off from like the Ninja Gaiden team. They made a new game called Wanted Dead. It's supposed to be I've heard it's a spiritual sequel to that, and Ninja Gaiden, obviously I have it behind me here. It's one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm going to test that out just to get some beat 'em ups down. Hi-Fi Rush is still a great game. And we got some news next week, but I think we'll be good to go.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Decent. Did you say like Civ 7 also came out or something?
Civ 7 is has been announced as being in development. So,
All right.
so Sid Meier working it back and forth. It is.
He has some really good GDC talks.
Yeah, he does. I've watched quite a few of them. So
yeah.
Be good. All right, man. Well, on that note, it's been the Combo Wombo podcast. I am Mr. Gimpy. That is
Chipmunk.
And like, share, subscribe. See you guys next week. We out.
Yeah, bish.
Yeah, you bastard.